What is up, YouTube? Welcome to episode 76 of the Chaos Daily. Let's get into it. So, the next section of the wings have printed, and they turned out okay. Yeah, we're still running into that same issue. The same places on the LCD screen are affecting the print. Whether it's the LCD screen or something to do with the FEB sheet, I don't know. I'm not too sure how to fix it, other than getting in touch with Peopoly and going, hey, can I get another LCD screen, or what's the go here? It's a bit confusing. So let's have a look at the parts and see how they turned out. All right, let's start with the one that turned out pretty good. So you can see here we had a minor bit of warping and issue. Again, it's in that same area of the build plate, and it's gone through both sides. The underside is much worse, and then on the top section here, it was quite bad. So yeah, this is still like usable. I'll see how I can fix this. This warping is really bad. Let's see if I can get it to show up on camera there nicely. There, you can see it there. It's just not good enough. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to be printing the next section one piece at a time. So I'm not printing the left and right part of the wing at the same time. I'll just be printing just this one section, the left section, and then I'll be printing the right section, and it'll be smack down the middle of the bed. So all in all, like, it turned out pretty good. There's very little warping at the ends. You can see there it meets quite nicely, so there's only a bit of a gap on the leading edge and the trailing edge. The underside also quite nice. For the most part, it turns out really nice. So that one turned out the nicest out of the two. Let's have a look at the other one. So this one, I think I would absolutely have to reprint. There was a complete failure on the internal structure on the wing all the way through here. Let's see if I can catch that. Yeah, you see how much warping there is there? It's terrible. So, but like, it's weird because everywhere else prints perfectly. It's just these particular areas on the LCD screen, on the build plate, that seem to have a big issue. So yeah, and the warping for the seam is a little bit more severe on this one. I think that's to do with this. This whole section is pulling in like this, and you can see here how this is bowed out. It stops printing like this, so it got to here, and then it started causing this issue, and then this was a complete tear off. If we zoom in, you can see there how the layers just aren't bonding with each other, and it's only in this area. Everywhere else is fine. Here it's even more pronounced. You can see how the tearing is occurring. Some more cracks here from the warping. The layers aren't just working correctly. Another crack in here. That's a bit of support material that's torn the skin out. So yeah, this one did not turn out very well at all. So I'm probably gonna have to reprint this. The ones that I have on the print now, because the printer is going, if they turn out better, then we will reprint these two one at a time, which is a bit annoying because these are quite long, because they're quite tall when you consider that they print from the trailing edge, and the distance from here to here is quite tall, so it's quite a long print. Something else I'm gonna have a go with is adjusting the print settings. I'm gonna reduce the exposure time per layer. At the moment I've got it 12 seconds per layer. Because it is quite thin wall stuff, I want a good exposure on that tiny strip that is being exposed. But I'm thinking a lot of the light bleed that I'm seeing on the LCD screen is because I have such long exposure times. So I'm going to knock the exposure time back down to, I think it's 9 seconds or 8 seconds, which is pretty close to the standard per layer exposure time. The other thing I'm going to do is reduce the lift speed, and I'm also going to turn anti-aliasing on. I'm going to give this a go. So hopefully that will mitigate any of these surface issues where it's printing a new layer that is offset from the layer below it, and when it pulls off the bed, then it peels out that way and only sticks to that. And when it goes to stick down again and put the next layer on, it's basically folding it up underneath it like this. So I don't know. We'll see. Like, it's still very trial and error. I was really hoping these would turn out beautifully like these, but I kind of knew it in my mind when I printed the two of them together that they take up too much width on the bed, and it starts encroaching on those areas where I start seeing those problems. So hopefully now that I'm printing them single file down the middle one at a time, we might see better results for this section. In other news, the post arrived yesterday, and I received the turntable for basically the Lazy Susan. It's a big industrial bearing that they use in industrial microwaves and ovens and stuff. That plus the motor means I could start designing the turntable for the printer. So what I've done is I've created these 4 posts that go around the outside. They hold the outside ring, and then I've created basically like a wheel hub, which has got the D-slot shaft for the motor attached to it, so then that turns. I had ideas of trying to print a gear track on the inside ring instead of doing like this wheel hub. Yeah, no, I figured it would be better just to direct drive it. The motor turns slow enough. If I used a gearing system, it would turn painfully slow, which could be better, it could be worse, but it's too much effort to then go in and design all the gears and everything, making sure that the diameter of the ring is just right to fit on the inside of the ring of the turntable. So in my mind, it worked out better just to make a hub and give it enough tolerance fit so that I could fit in there, and then I could just use some epoxy to secure it in place. And then on top of that, there's going to be a 300mm glass plate, and I will probably put a mirror finish on it or something. Anyway, so yeah, we'll leave it there for today's episode. Yeah, I'm a bit bummed about the quality of those two prints. It is wasted resin, and I have done so many trials and so many reprints of things trying to dial this technique in. We're getting close though. The new internal structure is working so much better, especially how lightweight these parts are compared to their predecessors. These are incredibly light, so I'm super happy with that. We are definitely on the right track with this internal lattice structure. But yeah, it's just a real bummer that they turned out like that. So yeah, like I said, we'll leave it there for today's episode. We'll catch you tomorrow with the next section, see how well they printed, and that means it's going to be 6 more prints to go. But yeah, as always, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed. If you're not, go check out my other channel and subscribe to that as well. There's a lot of new people to the channel. I've been seeing a huge increase in my view count, so welcome to the channel if you're new. You guys are all watching the Draco videos, I see. What's going on? Why is everybody doing YouTube search for Draco RC lately? I don't get it. It's so weird. Anyways, so yeah, as always, I'm Chaos, and until next time, expect the unexpected, and I will see you guys later.
And a special thank you to all my patrons that help support the channel. If you would also like to support the channel, there's a link in the description.